We are at the International Wireless Communications Expo, and joining me now is a familiar face to Capital Ideas viewers, Marc Seelenfreund, the founder and CEO of Siyata Mobile. Great to see you, Marc.
Thank you for coming to Las Vegas, Mark. It's good to see you too.
Yeah, great to be here, very exciting. So for those who don't know IWCE, why is this an absolute must for Siyata to be at?
This is the major two-way radio conference, and you'll see that the whole hall is divided up between two-way radio companies and push-to-talk over cellular companies. You can see here Verizon, AT&T, all the major players, FirstNet, that are pushing push-to-talk over cellular. So for us, this is the most important conference in the year, and that's the reason that we're here.
And for those who may not have seen some of our previous interviews, the Uniden UV350, your flagship product, tell us about that, explain it.
So that's the first and only device to replace land mobile radio for commercial vehicles. So you understand there are over 12 million commercial vehicles just in North America. A lot of those vehicles, the way that they communicate is over land mobile radio. That technology has been around for about 50 years. The next generation of land mobile radio is something that's called push-to-talk over cellular. And as you know, FirstNet, the first responders network in the United States, is now moving from land mobile radio to push-to-talk over cellular. That's really the way that the market is going, and we think that we're going to lead that market for commercial vehicles.
Now, you mentioned FirstNet, we'll get to that in just a moment, but over the time that we've been following your journey, so to speak, you've been promising certain milestones, hitting all of them from a regulatory standpoint, striking deals with Bell Mobility. As you mentioned, there was a pretty big one recently.
Right. So as you mentioned, we launched with Bell Mobility at the end of last year. We were very happy to hit that milestone. It was a big milestone for us. We've already started sales with Bell Mobility in Canada. We announced recently that we're going to be launching with AT&T here in the United States. We have a press release that came out together with AT&T and FirstNet that this device is going to be offered to first responders in the United States. Just so you understand, there's over 3 million first responder vehicles in the United States, and AT&T has millions of commercial vehicles, logistics trucks, oil and gas trucks, construction vehicles. All of those vehicles are targeted for us to go after with push-to-talk over cellular. I'm sure you've walked around the show and you'll see there is no other company in the world that has a device specifically for push-to-talk over cellular for commercial vehicles. So what we believe is that we're going after a very large-scale market with a very unique device, and we're the only ones in the market that have that.
And Marc, am I getting the sense that Siyata Mobile is really at an inflection point, that there's a real confluence of events that have brought you to this point and you're really ready to kind of take off? Absolutely.
The answer is definitely yes. It's taken us a long time and a lot of work to get these devices certified. We're now at the end of the certification process with AT&T and with another major carrier in the United States. And we think that will basically allow us, once we finish that certification, to go after a massive, massive market of millions of commercial vehicles that have to be replaced with push-to-talk over cellular and take out their land mobile radio systems, and we're the only ones in the market that have that. So we're very excited.
Now you're dealing with these multi-billion-dollar companies. Another one is Motorola.
Correct.
So tell us about this arrangement with that company.
So as you can see, we're actually in the Motorola booth. They're showing our device. They are the #1 vendor in the world for land mobile radio. They're also making a very big push into push-to-talk over cellular, and we are going to be working with them in many different regions, as we are already. We've announced in the past that we're working with them in Israel. We believe that we'll be working with them in additional regions, and they have hundreds of salespeople just in North America. We think that can be a very nice opportunity for us.
I was talking with Chris Patel over at Motorola, and he says it's a natural fit with Siyata Mobile, and that it really fills in sort of a gap or a niche in their product portfolio. Is that kind of how you see it?
Motorola is a great company, and we'd be honored to work with them. And of course, they are the leaders in this market, and it does fit exactly their needs for push-to-talk over cellular for all the millions of vehicles that they currently have land mobile radio. As they migrate to push-to-talk over cellular, this would be an ideal device for them to work and to sell to their customers, for sure.
Let's talk some numbers here. FRC Research thinks that this year you can do about 10,000 of these units. Is that maybe an understatement? Is it conservative?
Highly conservative. I assure you that AT&T and FirstNet are not interested to launch this product for 10,000 units. They don't launch any device to sell 10,000 units. We'll be launching both at AT&T, as I said, and at additional cellular operator here in the United States. So we think that the potential is far, far greater than 10,000 units.
So it's estimated about 75% of your sales currently come from Israel. So now you're looking to crack the big US market. So there's that. And then I just saw you talking to a gentleman from Saudi Arabia. You could be looking anywhere in the world, correct?
Our device can work in the United States, it can work across Europe, it can work in the Middle East. It has a global application, and in that sense, we think that we can sell hundreds of thousands of units. Of course, it'll take us time to ramp up sales, but the market potential is tremendous, and it's a multi-billion-dollar market that we're going after. And again, 10,000 units is very conservative.
As far as the stock, in the past, in our interviews, you've expressed some frustration that so much money is flowing into cannabis and ignoring a good story like yours. Well, as we sit here today, you've got record volume on the venture, record volume over the counter in the US, and the stock is doing much better. So are we beyond that, where the markets don't seem to care much? They're paying attention now?
I believe that the markets are now finally paying much more attention to our company. Rightfully so. It just took us a long time to get through this certification process, but now, as you said, we're on the cusp of doing major launches in the United States. We're in touch with major US investors, and that's the reason that you see that the stock is also waking up in the United States. This is a US story now. Until now, we were very focused on Bell in Canada. Now we're moving into AT&T. We're going to be working with Motorola, which is a US company. We have another US carrier that's going to be launching our product. All of that makes us very interesting for US investors. So we think that, again, this is going to have a dramatic effect on the stock, because it's going to be a very interesting opportunity, not just for Canadian investors, but also for US investors.
And just to wrap things up, Marc, here to sort of bring it full circle to the actual product. Again, we're at this event, hundreds of exhibitors, but you're telling us you really only have the only one in the world.
So we're in a very interesting situation, which I don't think you can see on any other company here in the show. Every single booth that you go to, from the large booths like Kenwood and Motorola and Harris and ICOM to all the smaller booths, you'll see that every single one of the vendors has multiple competitors in the market. If you look around, you'll see that there is not even one competitor to our product, and it's not because there's no market, it's because we are the first company to come with this type of an approach. Nobody else has ever done this, and therefore we think that we have a very huge lead in the market. And that's basically the reason that these very, very large-scale carriers are launching the product, simply because it's very unique, there's a need for it for their customer base, and we think that we can really be the market leader in that market. And as I said, it's a very large-scale market, 12 million commercial vehicles, another 3 million FirstNet vehicles. It's a multi-billion-dollar opportunity for us, and there is no other company that's doing this.